Stephen Howson, full-time Devils. United just got beat 4-0 by Everton. And you have to say congrats to Everton. They were fantastic. They've been fantastic at home last few weeks. They were brilliant against Arsenal. They were good against Chelsea. Unlucky to get a draw against Liverpool. Absolutely smacked us around like total disrespectfully. And I'm sure they're absolutely delighted with it. They should be. It was a brilliant performance on their part. On our part, worrying, terrifying, humiliating, embarrassing. And interesting to see the reaction of a lot of the overreactionary fans. And some people are going to go and lose their mind over this performance and blame the manager and all that lot. And I don't understand how people can be so reactionary with it. Like you've not seen these performances from these players before. I don't know how many times I have to tell you that it's not as much on the manager as people like to think it is. It's way more down to the players than people want to admit. People want to think that there was this amazing manager, Jesus-style figure that can walk in and transform shit teams. It's not the case. Ollie had a lift at United because he was a better personality fit for the squad. He's still amassing a vast more number of points than anybody else, I think. I need to check on that. Up till last week he definitely was anyway, in the league since he was appointed. When he was appointed, we was 11 points adrift of top four, 13 points adrift of Spurs with a 0 goal difference. We currently sit, even after losing 4-0, with a plus 15 goal difference. Essentially a point, 3 points off the top four, 3 points off Spurs. If you can't see the tangible difference this guy has made, and I know a lot of people are like, oh, we should have got Pochettino. Well, you can't compare the two. Because Pochettino's starting 11, as I've said for months and months and months, is vastly superior to United's. Vastly superior. So you can't compare the job that's being done at both clubs. United need a better starting 11. We need a better squad. There's some good players in here that will look transformed with a different player alongside them. For evidence of that, look how shoddy Liverpool were. They changed the goalkeeper, they changed the centre-half. Suddenly they're title contenders, even Champions League, double Premier League contenders. That's potential. Did Klopp make a massive difference to Liverpool immediately? No, he actually didn't. For that first year of him being there, he had the exact same record. It was slightly worse, if anything, than Brendan Rodgers. Why? Well, it was Brendan Rodgers' team. It's the same team. Some managers are a better fit. Some managers are better than others. But managers overall have a lot less of no impact. There's certainly not no impact. A good manager can have a pretty decent impact on a player, on a club, but only the same as a good signing can have. And a bad manager can have the same in the opposite direction. You can't just expect managers to make gold out of shit. The fact, and there's certainly some blame. This is not me trying to defend Ollie in any way. This is me trying to explain the constant rotation of managers all the time. You need to read a book called Soccernomics. It explains in vast detail what I'm talking about. This is my opinion, before everyone starts trying to attack my opinion, saying that's fucking ridiculous. Before you say it's fucking ridiculous, I think you need to go and educate yourself on this 15-year-long study that these guys did before they wrote this book. Then you maybe understand what I'm trying to get at here. The new manager bounce is a myth. The new club, the new manager going to a new club, the team will always revert back to what their level is. And when I say their level, it's points per game level. A manager gets sacked when he hits his rock bottom, when he starts usually to average around about 1 point per game. That's when a manager gets sacked. So a new manager comes in, that team comes back up to its level, whether that's 1.6, 1.7, 1.8 point per game. Solskjaer took us above that. I think he probably got us playing better than what we were worth. But there was always going to be a reaction to that. And I think to explain that somehow, 2 matches a week is very difficult to have an impact as a manager. Because all that happens all that happens. Someone saying, I read one biased book and think I'm educated. The book's not biased, mate. The book isn't written by any particular fan of anything. You should go and read it before dismissing it, mate. And then you wouldn't look like a fucking idiot. This squad needs a big overhaul. What Ollie has come in and done was good, and he managed to get his message over to the players, because we didn't have the sort of schedule. We did immediately over Christmas, but then we had times with only one match a week. During that one match a week, Ollie was able to get over his style of play to players. That was when we saw a bit of a change and a bit of a difference, and that's why we saw a nice elongated period where we got good results. Lately, we've been struck with the double ball ache of competing on multiple fronts, competing twice a week, and injuries to some very key players. And we've just not been able to overcome that. And we've also saw, and as I said, there's absolutely blame to be laid at the feet of Ollie. His continual picking over certain players. Some players who have been completely ostracised without the level of injury, certainly I think that they're being claimed that they've got, the likes of Valencia and that. Something's happened there with Valencia and Bay, and arguably a couple of others at the club. But you can't, as a manager, impart your style of play when you have 2 matches a week, because it's travel, it's pre-match prep, immediate tactics for this game coming up, and then it's recovery, travel, immediate prep for the next match. It's hectic. And that's the times when you see a manager being able to go to work on what the ethos, the identity and the philosophy of his style of play is. When you don't have time to do that, then you're just recovering and going again, recovering and going again. And the players are going to slip back into what they know. And what a lot of this team knows is Louis, and a lot of what this team knows is Jose. And that style of play, a lot of that, some of that, was predicated on crossing, going direct to somebody like Fellaini. You can't go direct to Lukaku. He can't play with his back to goal. He's excellent with the ball at his feet going forward. He's terrible with it the other way around. We're disjointed. We got dominated in midfield today. But I think fundamentally we are shockingly bad in defence. Shockingly bad. We are lacking leadership and characters to a whole other level. Before the game, they were talking about not having or needing a Roy Keane or a Brian Robson style figure. I think that's got to be a priority. Who's the person on the pitch that's going to question Pogba's decision making at times? Because that's a player with all the ability in the world, and if he's kept on a straight and narrow, you get a good game out of him. I think if he played alongside Giggs and Scholes and maybe even Roy Keane, they just keep him doing the right thing all the time. If he played in front of Rio Ferdinand, I think Rio Ferdinand knows when to tell him to hold and when to tell him to give, and when to be like, go and show him what you've got in that final third. For 5 minutes, hey, just keep possession. That's what United need, is an absolute top draw, genuine leader. Unfortunately, there's not a lot in the game, but that's got to be a priority. Someone United have to go and scout with the idea that this guy can wear our captain's armband almost immediately. That's what we've got to go and find. If there's any good questions, I'll try and find them. I'm not 100% sure. There'll be, it's just a load of carnage in the comments. We need a clear out, says Pritesh. So this is going back to the poor management of the squad over the times that we spend money. We absolutely spend money. You can't say that we don't spend money. The problem is that we don't spend intelligent money. We didn't need to bring in a Sanchez. I was excited as anyone when he came in, but I was also confused as to where he was going to play. You could see he was crying out for somebody on the right-hand side, because he was crying out for a defence. And then we bring Sanchez in, and you go, well, hang on. Martial and Rashford was actually playing very well when we brought him in. We halted their momentum. We changed our style of play. And now we're seeing issues in the squad with people supposedly demanding crazy wages. Because, oh, look what he's on. Look what he's on. And can you blame him? That transfer has skewed our entire club. We are in very, very real danger of becoming Liverpool of the 90s. Spice Boys that are blowing loads of money, which people forget. Liverpool outspent United in the 90s, won fuck all for it. That could easily be us post-Fergie. We are in danger of all of that happening. All of that happening. Unless we have one, a clear out, and two, a sensible, proper approach and strategy, which if we don't do, we're in the shit. A lot of people talking about, is it De Gea? Got to go. So I don't know if he's got to go, but he's he looks like he's distracted, doesn't he? Looks like his head's been turned a little bit. Keith says, I hope Ollie gets the opportunity to get rid of who he wants. Agreed. Who can we bring in to become the Roy Keane, says Zina. I don't know. See, a real leader, and look at the way De Ligt was celebrating with the Ajax fans the other night. Would he have that connection with United fans? Probably not. But that's a guy who's a leader, not a prospect. You don't get the Ajax captain's armband as a teenager unless you've got something about you. He had something about him. He's got to have something about him. He is a leader. He might only be 19, but he is a leader. He's got those leadership characteristics. I actually think Axel Tuanzebe could eventually be a leader for United, but he's got to start games and earn the respect of those around him. I think De Ligt, because he's done it on the World and Champions League stage, has probably earned the respect, and he would also come with, I would expect, £100+ million transfer fee, so that usually carries the weight of its own expectation as well. An academy player just given the captaincy after a good loan spell at Villa, it's not going to work, is it? So I think, as much as I think Tuanzebe is a potential future captain for United, he has to go and steal that respect. He has to go and take someone's soul a little bit and then get that respect and earn that respect. Once he's got that, I think he could be a leader. He's a top-class potential footballer, but you've got to get minutes and you've got to prove it at the highest level. De Ligt's done that. There's other players that have done that as well. But there's not a massively long list of players that you go, oh yeah, what an absolute animal leader. Herrera's one. But if he doesn't want to be here, well, he's no good to us, is he? Some of the comments from McTominay the other day, he could potentially be one. But he's got to go out and earn the respect. And you get that respect by putting in consistently top-draw performances, which arguably no one at United is doing at the moment. Lots and lots and lots and lots of people saying, play the youth. Someone saying here, I laughed at 75 million for Van Dijk. Of course I did. I laughed at it more because Klopp was saying that he would never spend money. And if you're referring to the Flame Wars video, it's a video called Flame Wars. It's not a fucking TED Talk, you absolute dicks. It's trying to make people laugh. Where's the director of football? Needs to come. Definitely needs to come. No one's really saying it, but I think it probably does need saying. Top four is absolutely finished, innit, for us. There's no way we're getting top four now. We couldn't drop points. We did drop points. We massively dropped points. We could probably afford to have dropped points in one of the games, which means that you've got to go and beat City, you've got to go and beat Chelsea, and then obviously you've got to beat Huddersfield and Cardiff at the back end of the season. If we do it now, that's some Houdini level shit. I don't expect us to do it now. Right, I'm going to wrap it up there. Thank you guys for joining us. We'll obviously be back this week on Wednesday with everything that's happening ahead of the Manchester derby. I don't know what's going to happen with that. But if you'd like to see more analysis and do some more questions and all that kind of stuff, then I'm going to be over on my channel in about 10 minutes. Just search Stephen Howson. I'll be with Joe and we'll be going through some of the stats and stuff from today's game and having a look at it a bit more in depth. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure to subscribe if you're new. I'll see you on my channel if you're coming over there in a few minutes. Laters.